morning, everyone. Welcome to morning meeting. Today we have Violet, our turkey vulture ambassador, with us this morning. So we're going to go walk down near our vernal pool and let her kind of explore a little bit, even though it is dry. You can still walk around and smell everything. As always, let me know where you guys are tuning in from today. If you guys have any questions, I'd certainly love to answer them. Rain is Violet. Yeah, showing off those wings. Yeah, pretty girl. So turkey vultures are native to Maine. They used to be not only found in the south, but then of course humans have a lot of trash and roadkill, and so these guys are actually strictly carrion eaters, which means that they only eat dead meat. So they followed our highways up, came to the north, so they used to migrate down. Someone's not, there's a little chippy that's not very happy we are here. So they did come up from the south following our highways. Yeah, you see yourself in the camera. Like, wow. Hello. They did used to migrate down to the south during the winter time, but they actually have started to stay here, which is pretty cool. I'm going to put you down and you can explore a little bit. I'm going to put her down on the ground, so she does sometimes like to walk around like a dog. So she is still on the leash, but I'm going to just let her walk around and explore and smell everything. Good girl. What do you think? What do you think, Violet? You're such a goof. So you can tell she's a turkey vulture because that pretty red head of hers, but also the silver underside to her wings. So you can see she has the dark back and then the silvery all the way down. This is how you can tell a turkey vulture from a black vulture when they're soaring way up in the sky. The black vultures only have the silver on the fingertips, essentially. And they also have a black head when you can see them very close. Yes, Violet. Oh, where are you going? You're such a goof. Good morning, Chuck from Rhode Island. Good morning, Deborah. Chuck, yes, Violet is injured. She is non-releasable, just like all of our ambassadors. You're such a goof. So she has a wing injury. So you can see her left wing does come out when she's walking around just like this. Girl. So she did get hit by a car, which is actually pretty rare for these guys, just because they are pretty intelligent. They're about as smart as, oh, what'd you find? A 4-year-old human. So she's very silly, has a mirror, very much misses Dante. They were roommates for 3 years. So she's very, very smart, has lots of toys. Her favorite toy is actually like a dog rope kind of toy to mimic that pugging of Karen. Where are you going, goofy girl? Are we going next door? What? Come here. Girl. Such a goof. Hi. I was trying to get your face without you trying to play with my camera. Girl. Hello. Violet. I got places to be. Oh, good, nice hop. Good girl. Nice job. So yeah, she has the wing injury. For those of you that have ever seen her home here at the center, she does have a series of ramps to help her get around, so she cannot fly. She actually spent the summer fostering 2 little babies, so she did a wonderful job getting those guys ready so they can be released pretty soon. So she was actually off display over in our clinic all summer. So she's very excited to be able to get on her walks again and to interact with our education staff. Because she did have those two babies. We didn't want those babies to imprint on humans. And that's part of why we do use our ambassadors as foster parents when we can. So she did a great job fostering those two little babies right now. They are learning how to fly and get around. For the last couple weeks, they've been learning to fly from the red-tailed hawk that you guys might have saw was released last week on our social media. So that hawk was actually teaching them how to fly and get around, something Violet cannot do. Right, it's a pretty girl. So Karen, she's been with us since 2016, since that car accident. So we're very, very grateful to have her. She's the first vulture ambassador that we have had at the Center for Wildlife. And she's, at the time when she came to us, she was by far the most intelligent. So it was really fun going through that training process with her. As Sarah and Katie had both told me about how funny she was when she first came in. So we are really, truly grateful to have her as our vulture ambassador. She is the first one that we've had. Good morning, Trisha and Teresa. Trisha, so unfortunately we are still closed to the public for self-guided tours. You can, however, schedule a private tour with us, but that's really the only time we're allowing the public on site right now. Going into fall and winter, we're hoping to have some owl prowls and our normal winter activities. Of course, with some COVID adaptations. Hi. Don't jump on me. Pretty girl. So you can visit, we just have to know you're coming, and you do have to have a scheduled slot with us just so we know that you're coming, and we can clean everything. It's more than usual. Not so scary. No, not at all, Teresa. So she's so funny. Because of that intelligence, she's such a goof. She's such a silly girl. And I love you very, very much, Miss Violet. Where are you going? You walk like a dog now? Okay. Teresa, I certainly do. Thank you. She has been a phenomenal ambassador. She's really funny. She absolutely adores children. So when we bring her to like preschool classes and like younger kids, she absolutely loves it. You can sit there. Good girl. That's a nice little place. Then you can play and see what's going on in there. She is very amazing. I would very much agree, Karen. I absolutely adore you, Violet. Good morning, Oz. I'm glad you love her too. We certainly do as well. Chuck, since watching and listening here, I thought they were gross but leave differently. I'm very glad that Violet was able to change your mind. So yes, they do eat a lot of gross things. They are literally our hazmat team of nature. So she has stomach acid that's stronger than battery acid. They are strictly carrion eaters, so only eating dead meat. And so she, even though we do call her a raptor, they don't have those strong raptor talons like our hawks and our owls do. What are you doing, you goof? So she doesn't have those, they're essentially like turkey feet. Hey. But that beak is very, very sharp and strong to make up for that. So she could pick a bone clean to the point where you could probably put it into a museum just based off of her sharp beak. Because that's all she needs. She doesn't need those strong feet to catch her food because they're already dead. These guys are actually known to sit and wait for something to pass away before going in. Where their cousins, the black vultures, are a bit more aggressive than these guys. They are a bit bigger as well. And that turkey vultures have about a quarter size bigger olfactory bulb in their brain, which is the part of the brain that's responsible for smell. And so the black vultures will essentially follow these guys around and then bully them off a carcass. They're not very nice. What? Oh, you can play with the moss now. You're such a goof. They do love to explore with that beak, so you can see she's playing with the moss and picking things up. So imagine they're eating all these gross things, and they could be disease-ridden and have stuff in them. So the goal for these guys is to be able to clean. Hey, rude. To eat all those gross things and then essentially neutralize the chemical or the pathogen. So they can neutralize botulism, anthrax, rabies, Lyme. They are incredibly clean birds, even though they eat a lot of gross things. So sometimes you may see these guys with their wings out. It's kind of like when we see turtles out on a log during the summertime. They're basking, trying to keep themselves nice and clean, baking those bacteria and parasites off their body. So she can actually, it's called cue ball, which means that she's going to pull all those little black feathers off of the top of her head, or back of her head, so that she doesn't get gross stuff on her face. She can use her feet, her little toes, to pick stuff out of her nares. You can see they're hollow. You can see right through her skull. So these guys can smell parts per billion. They can smell a carcass from several miles away when they're soaring up on the sky following those thermals. And so they use those toes to pick them clean. And then they'll actually go to the bathroom on their legs. It's essentially just like hand sanitizer, just like we're all using to keep ourselves safe. She'll go to the bathroom on her legs and wherever she is eating to help clean up that carcass as well. So they are super, super clean, very beneficial for us as well. Even though they do sometimes look scary and gross, but it's so funny when you get to know them. She'll let me show you. She actually has these beautiful eyelashes. Girl, look, where are you going? Like, this is interesting. I know, Karen. We certainly miss you all being able to come as well, especially Violet. And all of our ambassadors really miss the attention and be able to interact with our public. Violet loves to sit in her window and interact with people that walk by. And she definitely misses Dante, so we do give her lots of extra attention because you're bored. And she didn't know until she got back from fostering the baby, so it's an adjustment for her as well as all of us here. We all certainly miss him as well. Violet. Peekaboo. Well, that's awesome, Teresa. Thank you. Yeah, you'll Violet. Are we going over to the new building? Certainly, you can reach out to Katie Broder on the website. We certainly love to schedule a tour with you so we can see you, Missy. She is very beautiful, Lori. I would very much agree. Violet, will you let me show off your eyelashes? No, I have places to be right now. So this is one of Violet's favorite enrichment activities. Is she just walks around like a dog and explores. Her and Bertram love to do this. Like, I'm so smart, I do what I want. such a goof. Oh, thank you, Lori. I'm glad you were able to help rescue one that needed help and got it the help it needed. Was there for... That's awesome, Lori. Thomas, yes, there are lots of them in North Carolina as well as all over. They can be found all down the East Coast, some into the Midwest. So these guys are here in Maine more prevalent than the black vultures, but they certainly are very common in the South as well. That's where your home that's where you guys came from. Please don't rip your leash. I'd be very sad that we can't go on walks, Miss Violet. Good morning, Katie. Good morning, Naomi from Rhode Island. Oh, I'm glad, Teresa. We will certainly hope that you guys are still learning a lot and hanging out with us. So thank you. Yeah, Chuck, they are beautiful when they're soaring up in the sky. So these guys, you can tell they are a vulture. Because even though they don't call, they don't have a syrinx or voice box, so they cannot call when you see in movies or TV. That really loud "Keer" sound played over these guys, or our eagles. It's actually a red-tailed hawk. So they make grunts and hiss, but they don't actually call like we would think. But when they're soaring, you're going to see the wings back in the V shape. Big black body with that silver underside, as you guys might have saw earlier. They're very beautiful up in the sky. What's that? Yeah, very rare to see just one, Chuck, you're correct. They are pretty social, so you will see usually at least a couple hanging out together, soaring the thermals, because they are eating dead things. They're not, and the turkey vultures in particular are pretty much not aggressive, for the most part, compared to the black vultures, and so you will see them hanging out together. They are quite social with their intelligence. My name is Violet. What do you think? Wanna go be in the parking lot for the new building? We're so close. Good morning, Ryan. Hello. What do you think, Violet? You exploring? What do you think? Ooh. You're okay. So I'm going to get her on the glove for a second, and then we're going to go out into the big open area. Maybe I can get her to put her wings out. You guys can all see them in the sun. Can we go out there, miss? Good morning, Priscilla. Hey. Hey. No. No. Easy. No. Hey. Good girl. I'm just trying to get her out into the open. She's gonna love the sunshine. If I can get her out. Easy, Violet. Where you wanna go? Let's go this way. Sorry. There we go. What do you think, pretty girl? You made it all the way over to the new building, you goof. What do you think? Good morning, Tiffany. Yeah, she definitely is a favorite of many of our visitors. even though sometimes you are not very nice to volunteers and you chase them. It's a big game and you're bored. But it's just out of love. Chuck, their wingspan is about 6 feet. Off the top of my head, I'm not positive about eagles, but they do have a very substantial wingspan, however. Right? Wanna go over and explore? Maybe we'll go over to the rock in the driveway. I don't want to put you down. Just to be safe. Oh, thank you so much for donating, Alan. That's really sweet of you. As always, we are a nonprofit. We don't receive any state or federal funding for the work that we do. So thank you so much. We couldn't do our work without you. We couldn't treat our 2,000 plus patients or take care of our 30 non-releasable ambassadors. So thank you so much. We are truly grateful, so thank you. Good morning, Kara. What kind of things does she eat? Do you have to order food? So it's funny you ask that. So some vultures are kind of like humans, where they like... That's it? Good girl. Where they may like food that's decayed for 1 day or 2 days. Kind of like fine wine, want it to age. So it does depend on the vulture. They do have a little sense of taste like that and little differences. Good girl. But she generally eats, we give her mice, but she really likes guinea pigs. Sometimes during the winter time we have, sometimes we'll get like donated rib cages and stuff like that. Fish heads she really enjoys. So we do try to offer a bit of enrichment, but they in the wild would eat primarily dead mammals, but definitely at least something that's dead. They may take another animal, but they really do like the mammals, deer, and stuff like that. Good morning, Marilyn and Thomas from Massachusetts. Welcome. We have Violet, our turkey vulture, with us this morning. Good morning, Rach. Are there predators of turkey vultures? Yes. So these guys, there's 3 P's of vultures: picking, pooping, and puking. We say that. So they can pick food out of their nares, their nostrils, to keep them nice and clean. They're gonna poop on their legs and wherever they're sitting to keep them nice and clean. Good girl, nice rouse. And then puking. So that is their natural defense. Oh, good girl. Does that feel nice? This is one of the ways that they'll keep themselves clean. They're going to put their wings out and bake that bacteria off their body. So it's one of Violet's favorite activities, is to sit in the sun and sunbathe. But if a predator or even like a black vulture comes over and is being aggressive, they might puke all their food up, whatever, because they'll gout themselves and eat very fast. So they'll puke it all up, because that stomach acid, it does smell absolutely rancid. So in that hope, they hope that the predator will leave the puke alone so they can come back and eat it afterwards. But that also makes them lighter, and so they'll fly off and then come back, hopefully, if the food is still there. But it could be anything from being puked by a human. So that's one of the really integral part of training a vulture, is getting puked on as a defense, which is a good sign when we see like the babies doing it, because that means that they are alert to humans. They know humans are predators. Sometimes they'll puke in like for a car, stuff like that, because they're just eating dead things. They're not going to take prey. They're just trying to get their food and eat all of it as fast as they can. Good morning, Elizabeth and Ava from New Hampshire. Welcome. And Violet, our turkey vulture ambassador, with us this morning. And good morning, Brian. Oh, thank you so much for donating, Brian. That's so sweet of you. I said it earlier as well, but we couldn't do our work without donations just like yours. So thank you so much. We're really, truly grateful. Right, Violet? So you can get food. Does it feel nice? I know. We gotta go back to your enclosure soon, hon, so you can eat breakfast. So everyone else can eat. Like, this works. So yes, you can see that silver underside that she has going all the way down, all those little fingers. So our vultures are really unique because they are scavengers, but they're the only bird that's a pure scavenger. They have to have special, they fit a bit of a unique niche evolutionarily, because they're very large birds, so they can't take off very often. She weighs about 5 pounds as an adult, which is pretty typical for these guys. So they're very large, they can't fly very fast, so they scavenge, so they're only eating dead things. So they fit in a very unique area evolutionarily, which is pretty cool. They're only obligate scavengers as birds. Right, Miss Violet? We gotta go back soon, honey. What do you think? Violet loves her walks. She is so smart and getting all of those smells and getting some sun. Oh, hey, friend. Violet, look. That was pretty cool. You just had a vulture friend come over, Violet. So they do frequent the Mount A area, so you do see them a lot around here, especially right now. Oh, hey, look! That's pretty cool. You see that, Violet? But you can see how it's flying with those wings back. Oh my god, this is awesome, Violet. Look at that. What do you think? Very cool. Yeah, Chuck. It's really hard to see for me because it's right in the sun. What do you think, Violet? So some do still migrate around here. But we are seeing them staying here a lot during the winter time. And you see, not really flapping too much, just kind of riding the thermal. That's really cool, Violet. Chuck, yes, they are related to condors. So they are vultures. As well, the condors actually have about double the wingspan as these guys. It's closer to 11 or 12 feet, where hers is about 6. Right, pretty girl? Elizabeth, are they solitary or do they flock together? So a lot of times you will see a couple hanging out together, soaring together. I actually had 4 of them soaring over my house on the thermals, which is pretty cool. So generally you see them hanging out together because they are pretty social, they are pretty intelligent. So generally when there's one, there is usually a couple in the distance. She's so interested. What do you think, Violet? Oh, yeah? Pretty cool, Violet. What's that? It's like, whoa. That was pretty cool. Good morning, Janet from Bath. She is quite beautiful. Teresa, do they nest in the wild like other birds? So they will kind of find just a rocky ledge, and then just kind of brush it off and be like, cool, this is where we're gonna lay eggs and live. So they don't build a nest like you think a lot of songbirds and some hawks and crows do. So they're just gonna find a little brushy, a little ledge and kind of brush it off and be like, this works. Yeah, Marilyn, pretty cool. Kendra, why is she holding her wings out like that? So she has her wings out like this because we are sitting in the sun right now. This is one of the ways that these guys can bake bacteria off their bodies. It's similar as when you see like painted turtles sitting out on a log in the middle of the summertime. So they are baking parasites and bacteria off and just enjoying some sun just like we all do. So a lot of times when you see vultures in the wild, if they're not flying, this is a lot of times how you will see them, just trying to get in a nice sunny little area. We're right under the sun right now, so she's just basking and enjoying this right now. Janet, why winter? So Janet, I don't remember exactly what I said with winter, but sometimes these guys historically have been migratory from Maine. So they would fly down south during the wintertime, just because it is a little bit chillier. For these guys, you can see that bald head, the bald feet. But so she does get a heating pad in the wintertime, even though wild ones do hang out here during the winter. Some do still migrate down, but they have started to stay here year-round. The black vultures, their cousins, have slowly started to make a population up here as well, but they do still migrate south during the wintertime. They're just slowly making their way up following the turkey vultures. Well, you're welcome, Teresa and Kendra and Janet. But of course they are carrion eaters, so they only eat dead meat, which there always is. There's always going to be roadkill. And dead food. Things are always dying. Right, Violet? So there's still food here, it's just a little cold. That's why some of them still migrate. Yeah, they are quite beautiful, especially when they're soaring in the wild. It's amazing to see them. Right, Miss Violet? So we are going to head back with Miss Violet back to her enclosure. As always, if you guys have any last questions, I can certainly answer them. Good morning, Thomas. Why does her head look weird? So vultures can actually pull all these little red feathers, or black feathers, back on her head. It's called cue balling because she only eats dead food, so she wants to make sure that her head gets nice and clean. So she can pull all those feathers back so that she doesn't get them really dirty. And then she has her nares, her hole through her skull, to help her smell really well. They can smell something dead from several miles away. Because they only eat dead food, so they have a really amazing sense of smell. And that's why her head looks a little silly. Good morning, Jill and Charlie. Oh, that's awesome. I'm glad you have them. If you certainly want to help our wildlife, one thing that you can remember, because remember, these guys are eating dead food. So just being mindful of how you're taking care of your own pest control in your house. Those chemicals have a higher impact on the food chain, just the same way that it gets rid of our pests. So you always want to be mindful of that. Because even though that stomach acid is very, very strong, it still, when they have enough of it, it still hurts these guys the same way it hurts our pests. So definitely want to be mindful of that. Right, Miss Violet? Like, I eat gross things, but I try. Oh, you're welcome, Chuck. I'm so glad that you're still hanging out with us every day. You're welcome, Marilyn and Jill and Janet and Teresa. Oh, that's awesome, Charlie. Yeah, Violet, she had a nickname when she first came to us. She was Violet the Valmadine vulture. Chuck, so all of our raptors were, there was a degree level of how much they were impacted, because they still were eating those foods that had those chemicals in them, but they did not go on the endangered species list like our peregrines did because of it. Good morning, Jill. So as always, thank you guys so much for tuning in with us today, and we will see you guys tomorrow. So have a great day, everyone. You're such a goof. Have a great day, everyone. We'll see you tomorrow.